Legends, what is going on? This is the Gym Boss Podcast, and I'm Jimmy Halley, and I'm your host as always. And this is everything that is gym marketing, sales, mindset, business development, and everything else that you possibly might need to be able to grow your brand, grow your gym, and be able to have a bit more freedom all at the same time. And if you don't know, I run an agency, an advertising agency exclusively for gym owners. And if you're interested in getting some marketing done for you and you want to know a little bit more about how that works, go on over to iwantgymleads.com. Short little video recorded for you, and that's if you're serious about growing your brand and really scaling this year in 2020. But before I dive into the content today, which is like about how you got to look at your business like the human body with all its separate parts, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But it's been a hot little minute since I've done a podcast here, and a lot's been going down. A lot's been going on. The agency is growing, which is great. We're in the recruitment process right now because things are starting to grow quite quickly. We've actually started a beta test of, instead of doing the done for you, because a lot of people want the done for you. They're like, hey, look, I'm busy. I just don't want to do it. I just want to be able to wake up in the morning and have leads there. And then there's this other people that want to, hey, look, Jimmy, that's cool, but I want to be able to learn it myself. So we've put together a little beta test. We've already had a couple of guys start it just this week, where it's an 8-week little course to go through and show you absolutely everything so you can run ads for your gym at an agency level, which is pretty exciting because that's the second product or offering that we have at the business here. So that's why there's been a bit of a lack of content coming out in podcasts. But I hope you've been well. I hope you've been crushing it. I hope you've had a prosperous January 2020 already, because what are we? We're Thursday, the 6th of Jan here at the time of recording this. Thursday, the 6th of Feb. Thursday, the 6th of Feb. So I hope that all of January has been absolutely rocking for you. And let's dive into this. And boom, your boy's gone and got himself a new tattoo. Eagle, all up the forearm. I could, if you can go onto my Instagram, I think I've put pictures up on there, or I will. Anyway, so this year I've been I'm going to work on getting a sleeve done. But anyways, let's dive into this. There's content here today why you got to look at the human body, how just like you got to look at your business just like how you look at the human body. So let's zoom out for a minute and look at some like core functions or systems of a business, like any business, of a gym. They're all the same, right? All businesses, when you zoom out and remove the actual detail of what the business does, the overall functions of the business are the same. So what I mean by here on the whiteboard, as you can see on the video, if you're on podcast, all good. I just got them in separate boxes. So when you zoom out, you've got your marketing department or your marketing box, if you want to just segment it off. And then you've got sales. Then you've got your fulfillment. So like actually delivering on the thing that someone bought, whether it's a digital product or, for our case in gyms, a service where they actually come and get the service. Admin, finance is another one. Admin's another one. And there's probably a couple of others as well. But like, I'm just for the sake of this video, I just want you to have a look and zoom out and think. Now start thinking, instead of being stuck in the day-to-day of how the business runs, of being stuck doing the day-to-day stuff, take some time to zoom out and look at your individual departments. These are probably some good places to start, these 5 departments, starting from top to bottom: marketing, sales, fulfillment, admin, finance. So have a look at those departments and have a look at like each individual section. Just think of this as like, I've got a really good analogy here. It's coming. Each section has within that a whole bunch of little systems within it to make it work. And what I mean by this is, think of this as like the human body. How I actually wrote some notes on this one to make it make sense. Think of marketing as like food. That's the food that you digest. So as humans, we have to eat organic matter. We have to eat food, whether it's tasty, whether it's healthy, whatever. We have to eat, right? That's your food and that's your water that you drink. And that's the stuff that's going in. But that's kind of like external. That's like marketing is an external thing that goes out to the marketplace. And then everything else then happens within the business after that, right? So this is why I think this is cool. So food is marketing. So that's the system of food. And then you've got the system of digestion. That's sales. Because now you've taken that food and we're converting it into something, right? And then, because that whole digestive system has a whole intricate part of how that works, right? Then think of fulfillment as like the circulatory system, like your blood flow, right? So now all those nutrients have been absorbed, they're in your system, now they're shuttling around the body, and like, well, we've got to have blood flowing. So that's your fulfillment, right? That's the delivering of the services. And then admin is like the lungs, right? The respiratory system. Because now you've got the heart going, the lungs are breathing, you got to breathe, otherwise you die. You got to have admin, otherwise you die, right? Finance, think of it like the nervous system. So it's your central nervous system. That's the thing that's sort of like doing it all, because at the end of the day, that's the thing that's making everything work. If you don't have the finances together, whole shit implodes, right? Now, there's plenty of other systems, endocrine system, whatever. But I just want you to think of the analogy kind of like that. And now some of it might be a little bit flawed when I'm talking about with the body and the correlation, but I'm just trying to do it to prove a point, right? So your marketing system, that's like look at the, if you think of this now, within each of those systems, there's a whole bunch of little processes that have to happen. Or like, flip away from the analogy of the human body, think of it like a machine. So you got your marketing machine, boom, right there by itself. But when you have a look at it, like, just say it's like a tractor. A tractor is a whole big working machine. But if you lift the hood on that, there's a whole bunch of things that have to work in unison. All these cogs, all these screws, all these spark plugs, all these pieces need to fit together for it to be able to operate and be able to work well, right? And so what you need to do is look at, and this is what I say when clients come to me and they're struggling with things, like, this is what we do. We've got all the marketing systems for them and the sales systems. We help implement those two. The fulfillment and other things, there's a few other things with that. But if we look at just the first two, marketing, sales, it's such a big, broad spectrum, and you need to look at, like, okay, let's look at marketing, for example. I'm going to break it down kind of like this. I'm going to draw a couple of little pictures. So let's see how this goes. So marketing, you first of all need to go, well, who are we marketing to? So you need to think of, like, who? Right? Who are you marketing to? Then you've got to look at what is it that we're going to be marketing to them? So what's the offer? So, like, what are we selling? Right? So you need to have all that information. And then how do they get it? Right? How do they get it? And then you start breaking down all these different, like, little pieces. And this is just like before we've even launched a piece of marketing. This is all, if you were to probably put this together, would be like piecing together the research phase, piecing together the niche, the offer, right? And then you have all that in place. Then you go, okay, what platform are we going to use? Okay, to deliver this marketing message? We're going to deliver, say, Facebook. Go over here. And then within Facebook, there's a whole bunch of stuff. So before we even go into Facebook, like, now we have this. Now we've got to write the ad. So you've got ad copy. Right? So now we've got to write the ad. And within writing an ad, there's a whole bunch of different things. You've got a headline, you've got a subheadline, you've got, bullets, you've got calls to action, you've got image creative, you've got all that stuff. Then the next thing is you've got, like, the funnel. And you can see this is all falling under just that one marketing system of the body, or one system like a machine. And all these cogs in the machine need to be working in unison, need to be working together for it to be able to produce the next part, which is sales. And you can see how they all, like, flow together. Now, if you think of a human body, going back to that example, I keep shuffling between the human body and the machine. Two totally different, but same. So bear with me. But if you're listening to this and you're just like, hey, look, Jimmy, I get it, but I just want you to do my marketing for me. Go on over to iwantgymleads.com, short little video for you over there. Go check it out. But if you're interested in the beta test of like learning how to do it all for yourself, still go over there, still complete the little form, and then just on there, just write that you're interested in the beta test and learning it for yourself rather than somebody doing it for you. Do you know what I mean? So go over there and check that out. So now if you have a human and you're giving it, it's like there's healthy humans and there's unhealthy humans. And same with business. There's healthy business and unhealthy business. If you have poor marketing and then you're attracting the wrong type of people, then the digestive process is going to be like, you might be bloated, you might not be getting enough nutrients. And then what's being used as energy, you're going to be feeling flat. And then the whole business, the whole body. So you're going to end up like being like this guy. Unhappy, right? He's going to be unhappy, and you could probably potentially die if you're doing the wrong things, if you're drinking too much booze or doing drugs or whatever, right? So if you've got a lot of bad stuff happening in the marketing, that's kind of like that's like the tap. You turn the tap on, and that starts the flow, right? So now if we go on the other side of that, if we have good marketing, good systems, healthy, someone looks after themselves, and they get enough sleep and, all this sort of stuff, all these systems can then work in unison nicely, and you've got a nice, healthy, happy human over here. All right, so he's smiling, he's happy, he's healthy because everything's working together. And it's only because, do you think a healthy, happy body happens by accident? It doesn't. We all know that. We're in the fitness game. Otherwise, no gyms, no personal trainers would exist. if everybody knew that it was just as simple as like just waking up and it just happens. So you have to put concerted effort into figuring out your nutrition. What are you going to do with that? Then you're going to figure out like, am I absorbing my nutrients right? And then you're going to figure out like, am I getting enough sleep? And all these things that are working together to be able to have healthy body. When you're healthy, you're full of energy, things are great. Same with the business. You got to take a concerted effort and look and break it down into its individual parts and go, okay, we've got our fulfillment. Like start with your strongest one first. If you want to have a look at like, what are you doing? Start with your strongest one first, because that'll give you a good idea of like, okay, this is, and it's usually for most people, at least starting out with this process will be the fulfillment process. They're probably really good at being with clients. That's what I find quite a lot. Really good with being the clients, like making them feel welcome. They know their craft. They know how to, help people with their diets and everything like that. But it's the other pieces of business that can potentially be the tougher areas, because that's not something that it comes naturally. So if you look at your fulfillment process and look at like all the little things that you have to do, and then that's what you've got to have a look at. Once you get that, then it'll give you a good idea of like, okay, that's my starting point. Now let's go to the very start. What's my worst one out of this? Am I getting lots of leads but not making sales, as many sales as I want? Okay, sales is the system I need to look at, and is the machine I need to look at and break it down into individual cogs or individual processes, and then really map that out and focus on that while still maintaining your fulfillment. Now, if your marketing is not working for you, but you're great at sales, you just know as long as you've got people sitting in front of you, you can make sales. It's just a matter of getting those right people to you, the right people. And so now you need to go, okay, let's look at the marketing system. Let's break that down into its individual parts. What we just started very briefly over here with like the niche, the copy, the offer, then the funnels, and then starting with the platforms, and then all these different pieces fit together, and you have a look at like, where am I missing stuff, or what needs to be sharpened, what screws need to be tightened, what needs to be improved or removed. Have I got junk in there that needs to be removed, like junk food? If you got junk food, junk in, junk out, rubbish in, rubbish out. Same with marketing. Rubbish marketing, you're going to get rubbish people. You're going to have a rubbish business. So you have great marketing. You attract the right type of people. You have a healthier business, because that's how it works. So if that is all making great sense to you and you're just like, this is cool, but I want to know more, go on over to iwantgymleads.com. Short little video recorded for you over there, and fill in the application form. Fill in the form, and then that'll just then we'll tee up a time to be able to have a chat, so we can talk about whether you want the done for you service, or if you want me to be able to teach you how to do it at an agency level, where you get everything that we have here. You get all of our systems, all our processes, all of our IP, all of our winning ads, tools, templates, everything. So if you want all that, so then you can then go replicate that forever, knock yourself out. But if you're just like, hey, that sounds too complex, I'm too busy doing all these other parts, the sales, fulfillment, admin, that, and you need just somebody to completely take over this marketing department for you, then we can do that for you as well. That's iwantgymleads.com, iwantgymleads.com. But to wrap up here, I'm going to give you a quick little story to wrap this up. This is to go in more depth on this as well. Episode 62 of this podcast. Go over to episode 62 of this podcast. It was with a special guest of mine called Brian Keith, great guy from over in the States. He's worked with big companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and he's helps them to optimize for better outcomes and for scale. Because if we can get all this happening, the reason why we do this is so you can grow, so you can scale, so you can have the freedom, so you're not like stuck doing all this, and you can hire people now, it's all documented, to fulfill these departments and these roles. So that's the whole purpose of having a systemized business. So you're not stuck doing everything and like taking anything by chance. Everything is all like good, ready to go. So, but go check out that episode 62 of Brian, optimizing for better outcomes. It's really insightful. And that's where I got the analogy of the human body. And I think it's just so on point. But that's me done for the day. So remember, systems, you've got 5 sort of major core systems. You could probably break it out to even more if you wanted to, but there's marketing, sales, fulfillment, admin, finance. Start with those. If you haven't done anything like that, start with those at least. At least start with the first 3, marketing, sales, and fulfillment. Start with those 3. Have a look at them like a machine. Break it down into individual parts. See what's working, see what's not working. And that's all I have for you today, my peeps. I hope you've enjoyed that. And if you have, share this with somebody that needs to hear this, or people in your team or your business partner. Share this episode with them. And again, if you want to know more about how we can help you be able to get more leads, get more clients, and grow your brand at the same time, whether it's with our Done For You service or with us teaching you how to do it for yourself, that's iwantgymleads.com. Short little video over there. And then fill in a little form. Then we can have a chat about how we can figure out which option is going to be better for you. But anyways, this is Jimmy. Love you all. Peace. See you all on the next one.